Single dad gives billionaire's disabled daughter a miracle. Mom breaks down in tears.
When Adam knocked on Fatima's door, what he held behind his hands was about to change everything. He wasn't just an ordinary American boy. And Fatima had no idea that today would mark the most important decision of her life. 3 years ago, when Fatima first saw him in class, he was just a normal guy, asking awkward questions about her hijab. But today, he had become someone entirely different. Fatima's hands trembled as she adjusted her hijab in the mirror. Today was the day she would introduce Adam to her parents. The same Adam who had once asked her why she wore that thing on her head, in their freshman biology class. The same Adam who now stood in her family's living room, holding something behind his back that would leave her entire community speechless. If you're touched by what you're about to witness, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more stories that challenge our perceptions and open our hearts. This journey of love across cultural divides might just change how you see the world. 3 years earlier, Fatima Hassan had been just another nervous freshman at Westlake University, clutching her schedule and trying to navigate the sprawling campus. At 18, she was the first in her family to attend college in America. Her parents, immigrants from Pakistan who had settled in Michigan 15 years ago, had placed their dreams in her capable hands. "Remember who you are," her mother had whispered that morning, adjusting Fatima's hijab with gentle fingers. "Your faith is your compass." Fatima had nodded, the weight of expectations heavy on her shoulders. She was to become a doctor. This was the path laid out for her since childhood. Her father had worked double shifts at the factory for years to make this possible. Failure wasn't an option. The biology lecture hall was massive, with stadium seating that made Fatima feel even smaller than her 5'2" frame. She chose a seat in the middle row, not too eager in the front, not hiding in the back, and arranged her color-coded notebooks with precision. "Is this seat taken?" She looked up to see a tall boy with tousled brown hair and the kind of easy smile that suggested he'd never had to worry about fitting in. His t-shirt displayed the periodic table with a joke she didn't understand, and his backpack hung casually from one shoulder. "No," she said quietly, sliding her books closer to make room. "I'm Adam," he said, dropping into the seat beside her. "Adam Wilson. Pre-med, though I'm already questioning my life choices after seeing the size of that textbook." Despite herself, Fatima smiled. "Fatima Hassan. Also pre-med, but I've known that since I was 5, so no turning back now." "Wow, 5? I was still eating crayons at 5. His laugh was infectious, and Fatima found herself relaxing slightly. As Professor Brennan began the lecture, Adam leaned over. "So what's the deal with the—" He gestured vaguely toward her head. Fatima stiffened. It wasn't the first time someone had asked about her hijab, but something about his casual curiosity felt invasive on her first day. "It's a hijab," she whispered back, eyes fixed forward. "It's part of my faith." "Cool," he said, turning his attention to the professor. But it wasn't cool. Not to Fatima. That simple exchange had reinforced everything her older cousin Samira had warned her about, that she would always be seen as different, as other. That her faith would be reduced to a curiosity, a conversation starter. For the next 2 weeks, Fatima made sure to arrive early to claim a different seat, away from the boy with the easy smile and thoughtless questions. It was in the library, during a late-night study session for their first exam, that their paths crossed again. Fatima had claimed a quiet corner table, textbooks spread around her like a fortress. She was deep in concentration when a coffee cup appeared at the edge of her vision. "Peace offering?" Adam stood there, holding another cup for himself. "I got you chai. Wasn't sure how you take it, so I left it plain." Fatima looked up, surprised. "How did you know I drink chai?" "Lucky guess," he shrugged, then hesitated. "Actually, that's not true. I noticed you had a thermos of it in class last week. I also wanted to apologize for being insensitive about your hijab." I've been doing some reading, and I realized how ignorant I sounded. The sincerity in his voice caught her off guard. She gestured to the chair across from her. Thank you for the chai. And the apology. That night, they studied until the library closed. Adam was surprisingly focused, his questions about the material thoughtful. When they compared notes, Fatima found his approach complemented hers. Where she was methodical and detail-oriented, he saw connections between concepts that she sometimes missed. We make a good team, he said as they packed up. Same time tomorrow? Fatima hesitated. She could hear her mother's voice cautioning her about becoming too friendly with American boys. But this was just studying, she reasoned. And she could use a study partner who challenged her thinking. Same time tomorrow, she agreed. Their study sessions became a regular occurrence. Twice a week, they would meet in the same corner of the library, armed with coffee, chai, and increasingly comfortable conversation. Adam never again asked about her hijab directly, but he listened attentively when she mentioned Ramadan or referred to prayers. One evening, as they were reviewing cellular respiration, Adam looked up suddenly. Why did you avoid me after that first day? Fatima set down her highlighter. You made me uncomfortable. The way you asked about my hijab, it felt like you were pointing out how different I am. Adam winced. I'm sorry. I was curious, but I should have been more thoughtful about how I asked. Or whether I should have asked at all. It's okay. You're not the first, and you won't be the last. She smiled faintly. At least you apologized. Most people just make assumptions. What kind of assumptions? Fatima sighed. That I'm oppressed. Or super religious. Or that I don't speak English well. That my parents forced me to dress this way. That I'm not fun. Well, I can confirm you're definitely not fun, Adam said with a straight face. All this studying and acing exams. Totally boring. She laughed despite herself, and something shifted between them. For the first time, Fatima felt seen, not as a Muslim girl, not as a hijabi, but as herself. By the end of freshman year, Fatima and Adam had become inseparable study partners. Their academic collaboration had evolved into a friendship that surprised them both. They celebrated together when they both made the dean's list, Adam lifting Fatima in an impulsive hug that left her blushing and quickly stepping back. Sorry, he said, looking equally flustered. I got excited. It's fine, she said, though her heart was racing in a way that had nothing to do with academic achievement. Summer break arrived, with Fatima returning to her family home and Adam heading to his parents' lake house 3 hours away. They texted occasionally about summer reading and their plans for sophomore year, but the distance created a buffer that allowed Fatima to push aside the confusing feelings that had begun to surface. When they returned to campus in the fall, something had changed. Adam had grown an inch taller and seemed more confident. Fatima had spent the summer helping at her uncle's medical clinic, gaining practical experience that made the theoretical concepts from their classes come alive. Their reunion in the campus coffee shop was charged with an energy neither acknowledged. Adam had arrived early and secured their favorite corner table. When Fatima walked in, his face lit up in a way that made her stomach flip. I saved your seat, he said, pushing a chai latte toward her. And I remembered, 1 pump of honey, no cinnamon. The fact that he had memorized her preference touched her deeply. Thank you, she said, sliding into the chair across from him. How was your summer? As Adam launched into stories about his family's lake house and his summer job as a lifeguard, Fatima found herself studying his animated expressions, the way his hands moved when he talked, the genuine interest in his eyes when he asked about her summer in return. This is dangerous, she thought. This is exactly what Amy warned me about. Sophomore year brought new challenges. Their pre-med courses intensified, and they both joined the Muslim Student Association's Interfaith Initiative, Fatima as a representative of Islam, and Adam, to her surprise, volunteering to learn and participate as an ally. "Why are you doing this?" she asked him after the first meeting, where he had sat quietly, taking notes. "Because it matters to you," he said simply. "And because I should know more about different faiths if I'm going to be a doctor who treats all kinds of people." His answer disarmed her. It was thoughtful, respectful, and hinted at a depth she was increasingly discovering in him. The interfaith group organized community service projects, panel discussions, and cultural exchanges. Working alongside Adam in these settings, Fatima watched as he engaged respectfully with students of all backgrounds, asking thoughtful questions and offering genuine support. During Ramadan that year, Adam adjusted their study schedule to accommodate her fasting and even fasted himself for a day, to better understand the experience. "You don't have to do that," Fatima told him, touched but concerned. "I know," he said. "I want to." By the end of the day, he was dramatically sprawled across the library table. "How do you do this for a month?" "I'm dying after 12 hours. Fatima laughed. "It gets easier. And it's meaningful, it helps me focus on what matters." Adam lifted his head. "What matters to you, Fatima?" The question hung between them, weighted with unspoken possibilities. "My faith," she said finally. "My family. My education." She paused. "The people I care about." His eyes held hers for a moment too long before he nodded. "Those are good things to focus on." It was during their junior year that everything changed. They had both been accepted into competitive research positions, Fatima in neuroscience, Adam in cardiology. Their schedules became more demanding, but somehow they always found time for each other. One evening, as they walked back from the lab, a light snow began to fall. The campus was quiet, the buildings outlined in white, their footprints the only marks on the fresh snow. "It's beautiful," Fatima said, tilting her face up to catch snowflakes on her cheeks. Adam stopped walking, and when she turned to look at him, the expression on his face made her breath catch. "Fatima," he said softly. "I need to tell you something, and I'm afraid it might change everything." Her heart pounded. "What is it?" "I have feelings for you. Strong feelings. I've tried to ignore them because I know there are complications. But I can't pretend anymore." The world seemed to still around them, snow falling silently as Fatima struggled to find words. "Adam, we can't. My family, my faith, they wouldn't understand." "I know," he said, his voice pained. "I've researched enough to understand the challenges. But I also know that what I feel for you is real. And I hope, you might feel something too." Fatima closed her eyes briefly. The truth was, she had been fighting her feelings for Adam for months, maybe years. He had become more than a study partner, more than a friend. He was the person she wanted to share every success with, every worry, every dream. "It's not that simple," she whispered. "I know it's not simple," he said, taking a step closer. "But I'm willing to try if you are. I respect your faith, Fatima. I would never ask you to compromise who you are." A tear slipped down her cheek. "My parents have sacrificed everything for me. I can't disappoint them." Adam gently brushed the tear away, his touch feather light against her skin. "Then we'll find a way that doesn't require you to choose between your family and your happiness. I just needed you to know how I feel." That night, Fatima prayed longer than she had in years, seeking guidance, clarity, courage. The path forward was unclear, but one thing was certain, what she felt for Adam couldn't be denied any longer. For the next several months, Fatima and Adam navigated a careful relationship that existed somewhere between friendship and something deeper. They never defined it, never crossed certain boundaries, but the connection between them grew stronger. Adam began learning Arabic, surprising Fatima one day by greeting her with a carefully practiced, "As-salamu alaykum." "Where did you learn that?" she asked, delighted and touched. "I've been taking lessons online," he admitted. "I want to understand your world better." His efforts to understand her faith and culture continued. He asked thoughtful questions about Islamic principles, borrowed books from her on Muslim philosophy, and even attended a few Friday prayers at the campus mosque as an observer. Fatima, meanwhile, found herself opening up to him about the complexities of her identity, the challenge of honoring her Pakistani heritage while embracing her American upbringing, the beauty she found in her faith, and the frustrations of dealing with stereotypes. "Sometimes I feel like I'm living in two worlds," she confessed one evening as they sat beneath the stars after a late study session. "And I'm not fully accepted in either one." Adam listened, really listened, in a way no one ever had before. "Maybe the answer isn't choosing one world or the other," he suggested. "Maybe it's creating your own world where both parts of you can exist together." His words resonated deeply with her. For the first time, Fatima began to envision a future where she didn't have to compartmentalize her identity, where she could be fully herself, with someone who valued all of her. Senior year arrived with the pressure of medical school applications, interviews, and decisions about the future. Fatima and Adam supported each other through the stress, celebrating each acceptance letter and comforting each other through rejections. When they both received acceptance letters from the same prestigious medical school, it felt like fate. "We could continue being study partners," Adam said, his eyes hopeful. "I'd like that," Fatima replied, allowing herself to imagine a future where Adam remained by her side. But reality intruded in the form of a phone call from her mother. "Your father and I have been talking," Amy said, her voice bright with excitement. "Your cousin Imran, you remember him, your Uncle Javed's son? He's finished his residency in cardiology now. He's asked about you." Fatima's stomach dropped. She knew what this conversation was about. Imran was 10 years older than her, a successful doctor from a good family. On paper, he was the perfect match. "Amy, I'm focused on medical school right now," she said carefully. "Of course, Beta. But it's good to think about the future too. He's coming to visit next month. We thought it would be nice for you two to get reacquainted." That night, Fatima called Adam in tears. "My parents are introducing me to a potential match," she explained. "A doctor from a respected family. Someone they would approve of." The silence on the other end of the line was deafening. "I see," Adam finally said, his voice strained. "And what do you want, Fatima?" "I don't know," she admitted. "I love my parents. I don't want to hurt them. But I also—" She couldn't finish the sentence. "You also what?" Adam pressed gently. "I also have feelings for you," she whispered. "Feelings I've been trying to ignore because I know how complicated it would be." Adam's breath caught audibly. "Then maybe it's time we stop ignoring them and figure out if there's a way forward. Together." The week before graduation, Fatima invited Adam to meet her at the campus mosque after hours. The building was quiet, peaceful in the evening light that filtered through the geometric patterns of the windows. Adam arrived looking nervous but determined. "Why did you want to meet here?" he asked. Fatima took a deep breath. "Because this place represents an important part of who I am. And before we talk about the future, I needed you to understand something." She led him to a bench in the courtyard. "My faith isn't just a part of my identity, Adam. It's the foundation of everything I do, everything I am. If we were to be together, you need to understand that would never change." Adam nodded slowly. "I know that, Fatima. And I would never want it to change. Your faith is one of the things I admire most about you, your devotion, your principles, the way you find peace in your prayers. My family expects me to marry a Muslim man," she continued. "Someone who shares our culture, our traditions." "I understand that too," he said quietly. "And I've been thinking about it a lot." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small book. Fatima recognized it immediately, a beginner's guide to Islam that she had recommended months ago. "This is the third time I've read this," he said. "Along with a dozen other books, countless articles, and hours of discussions with Imam Rahman. Fatima's eyes widened. "You've been talking to the Imam?" Adam nodded. "For the past 6 months. I've been learning about Islam, Fatima. Really learning. Not just to impress you or to find a loophole, but because I wanted to understand the faith that shapes the woman I've fallen in love with." Her heart stuttered at his words.